This is the Microschool Minute, your weekly dose of microschooling news and events.
In this week's edition of the Microschool Minute, school choice continues to dominate education policy discussions in 2025, with 15 governors addressing the topic so far in their legislative priorities. While the spotlight often shines on initiatives allowing families to use public money for private schooling, several governors are also pushing for expanded public school choice options, such as open enrollment policies. All of these proposals, often split along party lines, reveal a varied approach to empowering families with more educational opportunities. From Virginia to South Carolina, Republican-led efforts focus on or expanding education savings accounts and similar programs, providing with funds to tailor their children's education. The Texas legislature has been buzzing about Senate Bill 2618, a game-changing bill that could completely reform how education is funded in the Lone Star State. At the heart of this bill is the proposed Education Savings Account program, which would allow eligible families to receive state funds to cover private school tuition or other education-related expenses. But the path forward is far from smooth. After a marathon 21-hour session and over 300 public testimonies, the Texas House Committee on Public Education still left the bill hanging in limbo. While some parents passionately supported the bill, citing how it could make alternative options like private schools or microschools more affordable, others raised alarms about its potential impact on public school funding and rural economies. Microschools in particular stand to benefit from these ESAs. As small community-driven schools that tend to offer personalized, tailored learning experiences, microschools often remain out of reach for many families due to cost. If SB 2618 passes, it could dramatically expand access to this innovative model by breaking down financial barriers. Big changes might be coming for Arizona families using Empowerment Scholarship Account funds. A newly proposed handbook from the Arizona Department of Education outlines spending caps on certain items, leaving many parents asking, how will this affect my child's learning experience? Let's break it down. The handbook proposes limits like $4,000 every 3 years for musical instruments, $2,500 every 3 years for PE equipment, and $500 annually for home economics tools like baking supplies or sewing machines. These limits aim to curb misuse and ensure accountability, but some families, particularly those homeschooling or running microschools, are worried. Stacy Brown, an ESA parent, says her family has thrived with the program, but these caps could mean fewer opportunities for their kids. Brown explains, if a child is gifted in music, why limit their potential? Families with multiple kids in a microschool or homeschool setting will feel this the most. More than 87,000 students now use ESA funds in the state, up from just 11,000 before its expansion. This growth highlights how vital the program has become for personalized education solutions such as microschools. For these small, tailored learning environments, the proposed limits could restrict access to key resources that support unique and creative learning solutions. Meanwhile, at the national level, Republican lawmakers have introduced the Educational Choice for Children's Act, proposing a federal tax credit to fund private school tuition and related educational expenses, which could significantly impact the growth of alternative education models such as microschools. This tax credit would allow individuals and corporations alike to support scholarship programs, therapies, and instructional materials for both private and public school students. Proponents argue that this measure will empower families to choose the best educational fit for their children, regardless of income or location. The bill mirrors school choice programs in 22 states and has garnered praise for its potential to increase competition and improve outcomes in both private and public education sectors. However, critics claim it diverts funding from already underfunded public schools and disproportionately benefits higher-income families. School choice advocates took to Capitol Hill this week to confront persistent myths about education freedom, championing the successes of programs like Arizona's ESA and highlighting how these initiatives empower families and improve outcomes for students, especially those with special needs. The hearing featured powerful testimonies such as Walter Blanks Jr., who detailed how school choice saved his life, and Jenny Clark, who shared how ESAs allowed her to homeschool her children with learning disabilities more effectively than public schools ever could have. Despite critics' claims that school choice is financially damaging or unnecessary, advocates dismantled these arguments with compelling evidence and real-life successes. Microschools emerged as a shining example of the school choice movement's potential, offering personalized, affordable education for families who are dissatisfied with the public system. As Congress debates the Educational Choice for Children Act, the conversation signals a growing urgency to expand options and opportunities for all children, putting parents firmly in control of their child's educational journeys. This underscores the critical role of microschools in helping to shape a more adaptive and efficient future for American education. The Institution of Education Sciences has long been the backbone of education research in the United States, funding studies that shape how we teach, learn, and build schools. From groundbreaking insights into school successes to data-backed strategies like the science of reading, IES has helped to usher in smarter, evidence-based education policies. But now, the Department of Government Efficiency has issued a sweeping directive: cancel contracts, close research labs, and cut data collection programs. The results? Potentially massive. Education advocates warn that these cuts could dismantle decades of work and leave schools scrambling for reliable data to guide decisions. So what's the concern? Educational innovation thrives on information. Without IES, the pipeline of evidence that fuels new education models like microschools or personalized learning platforms could grind to a halt. Future policies may be built on guesswork instead of on grounded research. As the legal battle rages on, one thing is clear: the fate of IES funding has implications far beyond the walls of academia. In a dramatic move this week, the United States Education Department is cutting its workforce nearly in half, laying off over 1,300 employees. This decision aligns with President Donald Trump's push to reduce federal oversight in education, emphasizing a shift towards state and local control. The department's workforce will shrink from 4,100 employees to just about 2,050, raising concerns over how essential programs will function with limited staff. What does this mean for students and schools? Well, critics fear that the reduction could impact critical services such as supporting students with disabilities and managing the $1.6 trillion federal student loan portfolio. According to Roxanne Garza, a former high school education policy director, how these services will continue effectively with a drastically reduced staff is still unclear. The restructuring isn't happening in isolation, though. It's part of a nationwide federal government downsizing effort. While advocates like Gene Allen argue that these cuts will empower states to create innovative, tailored solutions, others worry that this downsizing could leave vulnerable students without vital resources. Heating, ventilation, and air conditioning are the topics of our next headline. New research from the State University of New York at Albany revealed that improved HVAC systems can lead to 2% higher attendance, 7% fewer suspensions, and increases of 3 to 4% in math performance. Beyond academics, the study highlighted that cleaner air reduces illness-related absences, while more comfortable temperatures create an environment where students can focus better, misbehave less, and ultimately thrive. This research underscores the critical role that infrastructure plays in shaping educational success. For microschools, these findings present a unique opportunity to lead by example. These small schools are agile enough to quickly adopt HVAC improvements, not only enhancing the learning experience, but also reinforcing their commitment to student well-being. A recent ransomware breach involving Caruth Compliance Consulting has shed light on a critical vulnerability in the K-12 education system: third-party data providers. This incident exposed sensitive financial and personal information of at least 110,000 employees across nearly 36 school districts, highlighting the growing risk that schools face in the digital age. From Social Security numbers to tax filings, the compromised data underscores the far-reaching consequences of cybersecurity gaps. As schools increasingly rely on external vendors for critical services, this breach is a stark reminder that even well-prepared schools are only as secure as their partners. Thank you for tuning in to the Microschool Minute, your weekly review of microschooling news and events. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you'd like to support us, consider leaving a review. Until next week, happy microschooling.